Many people overlook the fact that Ripple joined the BIS's task force on cross-border payments, often known as the CPMI Group, back in August 2023. Additionally, this demonstrates that Ripple is collaborating with some of the largest financial institutions to ensure that cross-border payments are incredibly effective. And if that doesn't seem familiar, it should because, for instance, in 2017, Ripple was working to ensure that cross-border payments were incredibly efficient because, as we now know in the finance industry, payments are beset by inefficiencies. The failure rate is on the rise. Transparency is lacking. They charge exorbitant costs. Additionally, the finality is rather lengthy. In light of this, Ripple was founded with the goal of revolutionizing global money transfers, often known as the Internet of Value. We'll discuss it here in a moment, but when we truly consider this task force, we must bring it up due to the recent releases from the BIS, which we'll also discuss here in a moment. However, let's move forward to April 15, 2024. The financial system of the future is the Finternet. This demonstrated that even the largest players in the market, the Central Bank of Central Banks, or BIS, now understand what's going on. This served as proof that the Internet of Value, later renamed the Finternet, is actually taking place. Here is the synopsis. Although digital technology has revolutionized people's lives in recent decades, the financial system is still largely rooted in the past. In addition to using laborious clearing, messaging, and settlement processes as well as actual paper trails, many transactions still take days to complete. Therefore, enhancing the financial system's operation is a key goal of public policy. Nevertheless, creating a financial system that is suitable for the future necessitates having a clear idea of what we hope to accomplish. Not just this, did this actually imply that this new technology and blockchain DLT would be used? However, it also demonstrates that they are essentially creating a new financial system. At this point, we take a closer look at unified ledgers. We examine tokenization. We examine almost every aspect of cryptocurrency. And this is from an organization that isn't built on cryptocurrency, you know? Actually, it comes from one of the biggest institutions in the financial industry. Even if you go to the BIS overview, you will find their goal statement and some of the BIS's supporting details below. And the most important point is that, going all the way back to the BIS's founding in 1930, the central bank, of which there are 63, owns it. These central banks collectively constitute 95% of the global GDP. To ensure that we alter the method that money is transferred, they are informing us that a new financial system would be introduced together with new technologies. It is really important to pay attention to this. Naturally, the first time we heard the term Internet of Value was in 2017, so that's when we think of the Finternet, also known as the Internet of Value. In fact, it came from Ripple. And this explained precisely what blockchain technology is doing. And it's crazy because the first big item that we encounter here is blockchain. Venture capitalist William Moegier refers to blockchain as the second important overlay on the internet. Much like the web was the first layer in 1990, when most people think of blockchain, Bitcoin immediately comes to mind. However, the possibilities that fascinate Moegier and a lot of other people extend well beyond monetary exchanges conducted with these virtual currencies. It touches on the Internet of Value, which Ripple has had for many years. This is the point at which we witness value exchange occurring all across the world, settling in a matter of seconds. At fractions of a dime, you know. I mean, this is really how the financial industry enters the 21st century. Now, the main focus of our attention is on a few things that take place behind the scenes, correct? We should revisit this article from May 13th from Wrath of Kahneman, since it relates to a January consultation on strengthening cross-border payments with the BIS and the Institute of International Finance responding. Although ROUSD was probably too fresh to be taken into consideration, stablecoins were also referenced when XRP was featured on Ripple's network as an alternate option. According to the document at the bottom, Ripple's network offers an alternate infrastructure for cross-border payments using XRP, a floating digital asset that is unbacked. For customers who want to benefit from speed and cost advantages in cross-border payments in a variety of situations, stablecoins and other digital assets continue to offer possibilities. They did discuss JP Morgan's private blockchain, which was formerly Onyx and is now Connexus. In addition, there are Circle's, USDC, PayPal's USD, and Coinbase's Base. However, the BIS is highlighting Ripple and XRP because Ripple joined the CPMI group in 2023, and the primary objective is to alter the way cross-border payments are made, processed, and performed. They've taken care of everything around them and ensured that they are highly effective and meet G20 criteria. In January, the Institute of International Finance and the BIS held a consultation wherein Ripple and XRP were highlighted. Speaking more specifically on ROUSD, Ripple recently incorporated it into the Ripple Payments Network on April 2nd, which increased enterprise demand and utility. This is significant because once more it is altering the manner that payments are made, with stable currencies leading the way. Additionally, keep in mind that you still need a neutral bridge currency, which is where XRP really comes into play, if there are a lot of distinct stablecoins that are also fiat-based. In addition to all of this, we received an update from the BIS stating that Bitcoin is distinct from the unified ledger, which is why I wanted to bring up the Ripple CPMI group news again. In a moment, I will play this video clip. A huge thank you to Subjective Views for this. Let's quickly return to that topic regarding the Finternet, as it is in this context that they discuss the Finternet and the future financial system, where unified ledgers become a crucial component. In contrast to XRP and other DLTs in this arena, Bitcoin will not be connected to or even included in the unified ledgers, which should tell you everything you need to know about it. But take a look at this. In my opinion, the quick answer is that since Bitcoin is a public blockchain, the concept of a unified ledger is essentially distinct from it. This decentralized concept of trust is its foundation. The idea is that instead of having trusted middlemen, you can somehow have a system where trust is decentralized and the ledger is updated by a decentralized mechanism based on consensus regarding the underlying state of the world. On the other hand, our worldview heavily relies on central bank currency. Therefore, as Andrea also stated, it is predicated on the trust in central bank funds, the finality of the settlement, and the singleness. The utility that comes from atomic settlement and programmability, I suppose, is what unites them. However, the technology that underpins programmability does not have to delegate the concept of confidence to a decentralized consensus mechanism. That is how I would respond to your query. Additionally, we did receive a few more video clips from this question, correct? These two are the ones that kind of go hand in hand with this one over here. However, this is the extra video clip, which we will play shortly. That being said, Bitcoin is somewhat distinct from all of this. I'm not at all surprised by it. Let's face it, if we truly consider this, Bitcoin is not a network that will be used for financial transactions. I'm not merely referring to base layer transactions here. Since it's so inefficient, we're discussing any transactions. You could say, oh yeah, Bitcoin transactions are great compared to what we have in the real world, when you compare it to what we have now. However, it's a very different story when compared to these other DLTs and ledgers. This is also the reason I have made the same statement on Ethereum. You know, Ethereum won't be a place for large-scale use cases or financial transactions. Simply put, that will not be the case. Furthermore, we have Aung San Suu from the Bank for International Settlements here as well. And he is describing how tokenized platforms that include government bonds, commercial bank currency, and central bank reserves can support the monetary and financial system of the future.